In collaboration with the Springfield City Library, the Springfield Thunderbirds held their last Boomers Reading Club session for the 2024-25 season earlier in the day. Took place at the Mason Square Branch Library, established last season. Boomers Reading Club primarily featured T-Birds forward Drew Callen and, of course, the team mascot Boomer. And throughout the season featured various other T-Birds staff and players. In addition to these sessions, the Springfield Thunderbirds Foundation will continue to donate gifts and supplies to each of the 7 Springfield City Library branches participating in the initiative. In Westfield, the ceremony was held earlier today to celebrate the grand opening of software automation developer SavvySource. Its new offices are located at 110 Airport Road. The company plans to help partners innovate by automating workflows, integrating systems, and eliminating software inefficiencies. Their ultimate goal is to help partners work more efficiently, achieve more, and unlock new opportunities for growth. When we come back, Jenna has one last look at our First Alert forecast.